Today I'm showing you how to make an easy dinner in 35 minutes. You just need 6 ingredients and some salt and pepper. We are making creamy chicken Alfredo and you're gonna love it. Hey, my name is Carrie with eatonadime.com. We're on a mission to help families eat well on a budget, and this recipe does just that. It is so simple to make. It's quick and easy to throw together. You can have this ready in under 35 minutes, and it doesn't take a lot of time. Well, we already said that. It doesn't take a lot of time, but it doesn't take a lot of effort to have an amazing, delicious meal. Now, you're going to find today's recipe linked in the description below, or you can always go to eatonadime.com. And before we get started, just remember to like and subscribe. If you haven't liked and subscribed, you're missing out. We actually learned recently that a lot of you are not subscribers. What? And we have increased by almost 100,000 subscribers in just a year. So we're ready to skyrocket that even more. So make sure you subscribe and then let me know in the comments if you've ever made a chicken Alfredo at home. The first thing I did was started some water to boil my fettuccine pasta. So get that boiling. That's the thing that takes the longest, is just boiling the water. So go ahead and get that started, and then we're going to get out our chicken. We have 3 pounds, not 3 pounds, 3 boneless, skinless chicken breasts. You could also do boneless, skinless chicken thighs, but we're going to slice these, so I recommend a boneless chicken. You're going to slice them into bite-sized pieces, well, into slices, but you want to go against the grain. And usually chicken breasts kind of run like this. So we're going to cut the opposite. Most of you would probably start here and cut, but if you cut this way, you'll have a little bit more of a tender pieces. And if they get too long, you can always cut those in half. And then as they got too long, I just cut them in half so they're a little bit easier to eat, but you don't have to. So let me show you again. The grain is running this way, so we're going to cut it this way. So we want to do perpendicular into slices, and again, you can cut it in half. But we're going to do this for all 3 of the chicken breasts. See, like, to me, that's kind of long just because it's harder to eat with just a fork. And so you could cut this into half or even thirds, but it will shrink up when you cook it. Chicken is sliced. I'm going to wash up. Then you're going to need a tablespoon of butter and a large skillet. I am using my bigger skillet today. That just allows you to have more room. It doesn't matter if it's nonstick, stainless steel, or cast iron. They will all work great. Okay, so let's head to the stove. In a large skillet, let's turn on the heat to medium-high heat and add a tablespoon of butter and let it melt. If you're using a nonstick pan like I am, make sure you're using tongs with silicone edges so it doesn't scratch the surface. And if you're using stainless steel or cast iron, you can use a regular metal tongs as well. So we're just going to let this melt. As that butter is melting, let's go ahead and add in that sliced chicken. Now what I like to do is I'm going to spread this chicken out into kind of a thin layer throughout the whole skillet. And what that does is allow it to brown before we flip it around. So you're going to saute it, but my idea of sauteing is more of just letting them sit and getting brown on each side, because if we get them nice and brown, it's going to make our sauce even better. These are going to cook for 5 to 7 minutes. So we're going to allow these just to sit and let it start to brown. As you can see, the chicken is cooking and the edges are getting nice and white, but only some of them are starting to brown. So as you can see, this one is not browning very much. So I'm going to let them sit for a few minutes, and you can even move them around or move your skillet around to make sure the heat is getting distributed. See how these were cooking more? So now I'm going to turn it around and just make sure that heat is getting on. But I'm still going to leave them like this until they're ready to flip. I just want to get a little bit more brownness on there because it really helps out with your sauce. So it's a lot easier just to leave it and let it set. Okay, we're getting a little bit more of the browner edges, so we are ready to flip it and let it cook on the other side. Now we are completely cooking the chicken through, but again, they're only going to take about 10 minutes. So I usually takes about 5 minutes, then you flip them, and it's another 5 minutes. So they're very easy, especially since they're in strips. They're very easy to get cooked through. And I will also use my digital meat thermometer to check to make sure they're 165 degrees. But they should be perfect because they're thinly sliced, smaller, so they cook up really fast. My pasta's coming to a boil, so while that chicken's cooking, I'm going ahead and we're going to put in 12 ounces of fettuccine into the pot. Make sure you cook your pasta uncovered. I just set it in there, and then as it gets softer, then I move it around. Make sure you move it around so you don't get any pasta that sticks. Now you want this pasta to be al dente, which means you want to cook it 1 to 2 minutes less than the cooking time than what the package says. So my package says 6 to 7 minutes, so I'm going to cook this for 5 to 7 minutes. You just want to be slightly firmer because we are going to be adding it with a sauce. Our chicken is done, and I did check it with a meat thermometer. I just forgot to video that. So we're going to remove the chicken, and we're going to turn the heat to medium low, because now we're going to make our sauce. Now we're going to add 4 tablespoons of butter and let that melt over medium-low heat. We want to take it off a high because we don't want anything to burn, but we're going to be scraping up all this goodness into that sauce. And then I'm going to add about a tablespoon of minced garlic so we can saute that in the butter. Now, normally you can add the minced garlic and the salt and pepper to your chicken, but today I'm just adding it directly to the sauce. Either one will work great. I'm going to take that spatula and move that around. And while I'm doing that, I'm kind of scraping up all those brown pieces to get those into the sauce. I know I've been talking about it like a broken record, but see how that garlic is starting to get a little bit brown. We don't want it to get too brown, so I made sure this is on low. And then I'm just kind of scraping off some of those, and we'll scrape off more when we add in the rest. Then we're going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Again, if you want to do this on your chicken, you can. And we're going to mix this around. Then we're going to add 2 cups of heavy whipping cream. I really like using heavy cream or heavy whipping cream. For this recipe, you can do milk, but it's not going to give you the quite of the creaminess that we're going to want for this recipe. Now I'm going to have this on medium low, and we're going to heat this up for a few minutes, but we don't want it to come to a boil. So we're going to be stirring it regularly, but it can come to a light simmer. I just don't want a roiling boil on it. We're going to simmer this for 3 minutes, whisking occasionally. Normally I'd use my silicone whisk, but it's falling apart. I got to get a new one, so I'm just using my small stainless steel whisk and just being gentle on the pan. It's been a few minutes, so now we are going to remove it from the heat. So I'm literally just going to move it to another burner, and we are going to add in Parmesan cheese, just a little bit at a time, and mix it up with our whisk. You want to just do about a handful at a time. That will prevent you from getting clumpy cheeses. We're going to need 1.5 cups. We just do a little bit, probably about a 1/2 cup at a time, whisk it together, and then add a little bit more. Now I'm doing grated Parmesan cheese today, but if you want to make this even tastier, go ahead and hand shred or hand grate your Parmesan cheese, and it's so much better. I mean, trust me, this is really good, and we're all about a quick, easy meal. But if you'd like to buy fresh Parmesan cheese and shred it, woo, you're just going to take the flavor up a notch. So now I'm on my last Parmesan cheese, and as you're mixing it, you'll see that it is slightly thickened. So when you remove it from the pan and it looks really watery, that's okay. It will slightly thicken as it cools and as you mix in that Parmesan cheese. I'm going to let this continue to, mix in. And then I'm going to go ahead and add the chicken. Remember that chicken has been sitting out for a little bit. So even though this isn't on, tossing it in here is going to really heat that chicken back up through and be nice and tasty. And then we're going to get that fettuccine and toss in here. So the fettuccine, I already drained it because it was finished off camera. And then we're just going to toss this in. Add in your fettuccine that has been cooked to al dente. Use your tongs to toss it all together. And remember, these noodles will soak up all of this soak up all this homemade Alfredo sauce. But guys, see, isn't that so easy to do? Dinner is already ready. Super simple, easy skillet dinner. Now it's time for my favorite part, eating it. Okay, now you just serve it. I like to serve it with just a simple side salad. You can even add some breadsticks. We've got some great recipes for that. And top it with some fresh or just some shredded Parmesan cheese. Either will work. But look at that, easy, cheesy, and delicious. Topping it with some more Parmesan cheese, and I even did a little bit of parsley just to make it look pretty. Don't have to though. Ooh, let's dig in. Mm. It's so good. And that's how easy it is to make this super simple dinner. If you love this recipe, make sure you grab the full recipe in the description below. We have it linked, or you can go to eatonadime.com to find it and more family friendly recipes. Again, remember, we're on a mission to help you save money and eat well without spending a lot of time in the kitchen. And hopefully, today's recipe showed you just that. Once you make it, I would love it if you would leave a review. Sorry, our oven's going off. I would love it if you would leave a review. We love hearing from you, and we always strive for 5 stars. But we love just hearing your comments and how you made it and how your family loved it. But I'm telling you, this is one your family is going to be obsessed with. Make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss any more videos because we're going to have a new one tomorrow. I will see you next time in my kitchen.